abilities, but certainly with temperatures, what is the math on that? 23 degrees below the freezing mark. Anything that would be coming out of the clouds certainly can cause for some additional slick spots out there. So take care if you're happening to get up and get moving, maybe after the Super Bowl, going out to the gas station or something. It could be slick, not just from the snow and ice from the past few days, but also some of these light flurries that are still coming off of the lake as we speak, to a much lesser extent than what we saw over the past 48 to 72 hours, though. There is kind of a corridor here of disturbed weather down to our south, producing areas of light snow, even some moderate snow included in there. But that is not really on a trajectory for us, though the northern extent of it may clip our sections I-96 and southward in the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. So the flurries that we've got right now, they're perhaps more in the way of areas of light snow, we could call it, by 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So you'll want to watch when you get up and get moving tomorrow morning, heading off to work. There may be a few slippery stretches out there, but not with really much more than a dusting or very light coating in addition to what we've got already right now. Very cold air around the Midwest. We've been projecting this for a number of days at this point, and it is looking quite chilly with this west or southwest wind around 5 to occasionally 10 miles per hour. That means wind chills are at about 0 to -5 degrees at times. Anticipate that that'll be a similar story for tomorrow, except that we actually do gain a few degrees on the thermometer. We had a high temp this afternoon of 11 in GR. We're going to take it more to about 17, I think, by day's end on Monday. Here's the model. Watch it very closely. Go from 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You'll notice that the coverage of light snow showers does increase just a bit, especially right along the lakeshore as that disturbance out to the west kind of cruises across. There's really not a whole lot with it, but it is going to agitate the lake-enhanced activity. So some light snow showers will be out there overnight and through the day tomorrow. So the collective accumulation is probably on the order of an inch or 2 or 3 in some of these sections from extreme southern Muskegon into Ottawa, Allegan, and maybe even northern Van Buren counties. By the afternoon, some of those light snow showers will make it more so into Grand Rapids as well. And then yet another disturbance. We've been talking about this for days too. Just various upper-level disturbances and impulses. One more will cross tomorrow night, give an area-wide, say, inch and a half of snow. I'll have more on that to come. Here's your forecast. Looking cold, Janice. Mid-teens, I think, for highs tomorrow. Maybe the upper teens by late day. Snow showers. We'll see if there's any end in sight in the 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, lots of layers this week. Anthony, thank you. From the start of former President Trump's impeachment trial to the ongoing debate over a new COVID relief package, Aaron Parsegian has a look at the busy week ahead on Capitol Hill.
Former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial is set to kick off Tuesday, charged with one article of inciting an insurrection following last month's violent attack on the Capitol.
I'm going to listen to the arguments on both sides and make the decision that I think is right.
Trump's legal team says he won't testify, and some Senate Republicans argue a trial is null.
Zero chance of conviction. 45 Republicans have said it's not even a legitimate proceeding, so it's really over before it starts.
Regardless, Senate leaders want a speedy trial as the debate over a new COVID relief package continues across Capitol Hill. The Biden administration still seeking bipartisan support behind their $1.9 trillion plan.
I would expect that if this package is passed, that we would get back to full employment next year.
And Democratic lawmakers are taking steps to push the package through on their own, saying there's no time to waste.
You can't stop. There is a real need. If you are out, you come to my home state of Michigan, people are hurting. They are in desperate trouble and have been because they haven't thought that anybody cared. We need a COVID relief package.
Meanwhile, Republicans say the plan is too partisan and includes things like a minimum wage increase, which isn't related to COVID.
There's a lot of things, I think, unrelated to COVID that are part of that, and we don't frankly know what we did virtually 6 weeks ago with the $900 billion that President Trump signed into law.
For Fox 17 News, I'm Aaron Parsegian.
Well, Trump's impeachment trial begins on Tuesday. It's not clear yet how long it will last and whether witnesses will be called. The IRS accidentally told thousands of Americans that they were not receiving a stimulus check. The agency sent out letters to more than 109,000 people stating that either part or all of their money would go to cover 2007 taxes. They now say that letter was a mistake. The message was supposed to let people know that the IRS had not processed their 2019 return, so it couldn't issue their first relief payment. If you're one of these people, you can still get your stimulus, but you'll have to claim the recovery rebate credit on your 2020 tax return and then wait for your refund. Former Secretary of State George P. Shultz has died. We're told that he passed away yesterday. Shultz, best known for serving under Ronald Reagan, and he played a key role in diplomatic relations during the Cold War. He held 4 different federal cabinet level positions throughout his long career, including Secretary of the Department of Treasury under President Nixon. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1989. Shultz was 100 years old. Still ahead here at 10 o'clock, a family without electricity for weeks after their home was hit by an alleged drunk driver and caught on fire.
It's hard. It is very hard living in a hotel, 2 dogs, and just the runaround is very stressful. We just need to get back to some kind of normalcy.
Well, now they are on their way. What the Fox 17 problem solvers found out after reaching out to Consumers Energy. They're meant to hold a charge, but doctors in Detroit have found that they can also stop pacemakers. What Apple is saying about the recent discovery involving the iPhone 12.
Like, hey, can we have some time for us where we can just get out there and not be dodging toddlers all night long?
Yeah, sounds like a fun night. Later tonight, a look at a roller rink in West Michigan that's making time just for adults. Just a reminder, you can get more news and weather from Fox 17 by downloading our app on your streaming device like Fire TV and Roku. We'll be right back after this. A family in Allendale is frustrated with Consumers Energy after living in a hotel for nearly 2 months now. Back in December, their home caught on fire after an alleged drunk driver plowed right into it. A temporary trailer on site for the family to live in was without electricity for weeks. So they called the Fox 17 problem solvers. Then, as our Ryan Cummings tells us, after that, the issue was fixed the very next day.
My husband got a phone call from our neighbor telling us that our house was on fire.
Kathy Dalton and her husband Dwayne were both at work when they got the call. Their home on 92nd Avenue and Pierce Street was on fire. A driver hit the house December 16th, slamming right into the main room.
He missed the corner to turn and went into the side of our house. And that was right in where the living room is, and that's where our gas line was.
Police later arrested the 29-year-old down the road after he took off. He was charged with OWI and high BAC and hit and run. Everything inside the Dalton home was damaged or destroyed, including all of their clothes.
We have to demolish it and rebuild.
The very next day after the fire, the family came here to Staybridge Suites in Holland, several miles from their property in Allendale, but the only place they could go with their dogs, Charlie and Leia. The 2 made it out of the fire.
They dropped a temporary mobile home on our lot on January 5th. It gives us an opportunity to be on our property with our dogs. We also have chickens, so my husband's going back and forth every day, taking care of them. And then we can just stay there until the new house is built.
Kathy tells me she got this notification at the end of December from Consumers, acknowledging the need for temporary electricity. But 50 days later, it was still not hooked up, even though crews installed this power pole on January 11th.
So everything was all set and ready, but Consumers kept dragging their feet as far as, well, they have to design the wiring. They have to do just different things that just kept prolonging it. And we would call and somebody wouldn't know anything about it. And then we would contact the supervisor and they're like, well, no, you need to talk to, this person. And it was like, well, they told me to call you.
The family got another delay on MLK Day. Kathy says Wachovia, the company that dropped this trailer off, also kept trying Consumers since they had to be there to finish the process. The date then changed to March 8th at the latest. That's when Kathy contacted the Fox 17 problem solvers.
It's hard. It is very hard living in a hotel, 2 dogs, and just the runaround is very stressful. We just need to get back to some kind of normalcy.
After Fox 17 reached out to consumers, the electricity was hooked up the very next day. The company apologized for the delay. A spokesperson says they did not get the request for new service until December 22nd and didn't get approval from the customer until January 10th. Then they had to design everything, which was finished on January 22nd. There was also a delay getting a road permit from Ottawa County due to a computer issue at Consumers. The family and their dogs are just hopeful to finally get back home.
Once they hook the electric up, then everything else can be completed, and then we can get in there.
For Fox 17 Problem Solvers, I'm Ryan Cummings.
As for the rebuild on that family's new home, that should take about 6 to 7 months. State Farm, Kathy's employer and insurance provider, is covering the cost. If there's an issue that you would like the Problem Solvers to look into, you can send an email to problemsolvers@fox17online.com. You can also join the Problem Solvers group on Facebook or call the number there on your screen. 3 people are hurt after a head-on crash that temporarily shut down a stretch of road in Kalamazoo County tonight. This happened around 7:30 off of Stadium Drive in Oshtemo Township. Police say that somebody driving a Jeep Cherokee was going too fast for the icy conditions when they lost control and hit another vehicle head-on. The driver of that car, along with the 2 other people in the Jeep, were all taken to a hospital. Police say their injuries are not life-threatening. Stadium Drive from 6th to 8th Street was closed down for a while, but has since reopened. 83-year-old from Branch County was killed this morning after being thrown from a UTV. This happened around 10 o'clock off of Gilead Lake Road. Police say that Roderick Hathaway was driving a Polaris Ranger when he crossed the center lane, flipped over, and hit a tree. Investigators say he was not buckled in and was thrown from that vehicle. He died there at the scene. A baby shower in Genesee County turning deadly Saturday after a cannon exploded. Police say the device was fired in a backyard in Gaines Township and blew up, spraying shrapnel that hit a few vehicles and a 26-year-old named Evan Silva from Heartland. He was taken to the hospital but did not survive. State police are now investigating and will be forwarding on their findings to the prosecutors when they're done. Still ahead, doctors in Detroit making a life-saving discovery when it comes to the iPhone 12, what they say the device can do to people with pacemakers and what Apple is now saying about it.
Janice, we've still got some snow to contend with over the next day or two. It's going to be to a much lesser extent versus what we had, ever since this past, Thursday and Friday. But we'll talk about what you're seeing on this chart right now and if there's any more towards next weekend forecast coming out.
Technology built to help us could actually be hurting some people around Michigan. Reporter Seema Chowdhury from our sister station, WXYZ, shows us how the iPhone 12's built-in magnet can affect life-saving devices.
Anybody can put an external magnet of enough strength, and if you bring it close to the device, it will turn off the defibrillator from shocking the patient.
Henry Ford cardiologist Dr. Gurjeet Singh explains the potential lethal consequences for those who use an iPhone 12 and have an implanted defibrillator or pacemaker. The team of doctors say the magnet found in an iPhone can disrupt the life-saving devices, putting hundreds of thousands of patients at risk. We're told the strong magnet helps maximize charging. The cardiac devices have switches that can respond to external magnets. The magnet could shut off a defibrillator. For a pacemaker, it can cause the heartbeat to be out of sync. Dr. Singh's curiosity of the phone magnets led to these findings.
We were quite surprised. As I mentioned, our hypothesis was that maybe the magnet is not strong enough to do any interaction, but we were surprised and amazed.
More than 300,000 patients receive implanted defibrillators or pacemakers every year. Doctors recommend keeping iPhones, magnetic phone cases, or any device with magnets at least 6 inches from their chest. And Apple put out a warning saying its iPhone and MagSafe accessories could interfere with medical devices. And if you feel like you're at risk, stop using the tech device and consult your physician. Now the FDA is conducting their own tests to research the risk.
If our paper or our findings changes the industry on either side, on the Apple side or the device companies, only time will tell.
That was Seema Chowdhury reporting. Dr. Singh will be continuing the research. The next phase will focus on testing all the brands of the medical devices to see if they are affected by the magnets in the iPhone or other portable devices. We have more information about this at fox17online.com. Still ahead, people are looking for new ways to stay entertained during this pandemic.
I think a lot of parents and adults are itching to get back out into socializing.
Well, the business that is bringing adults back to their roots.
What you've been feeling recently, you're going to continue to feel right on through this work week, through next weekend, probably into that following week. We've got a cold stretch of weather up ahead, but what people really want to know is, are we going to get more snow? Main forecast after the break.
For the second day in a row, Hard Rock Stadium hosted the funeral of an FBI agent killed in the line of duty. FBI Director Christopher Wray eulogized Special Agent Daniel Alfin, saying that he will long be remembered. During Sunday's service, Alfin's brother shared memories of the FBI agent as a son, brother, husband, and father.
As we move forward through life, we will all remember our parts of Daniel. And in doing so, he will live forever and walk beside us through life. While today we say goodbye to Daniel's body, we will never say goodbye to his soul.
Daniel Alfin's name will be inscribed on the FBI's Wall of Honor right next to his fallen partners. A funeral also held yesterday for Special Agent Laura Schwarzenberger. In his eulogy, FBI Director Wray said that Schwarzenberger, who served for 16 years, was among the best the agency ever had. Alfin and Schwarzenberger were both shot and killed Tuesday while executing a federal search warrant in Sunrise, Florida, both trying to bring a man accused of crimes against children to justice. A suspect also died in the ensuing gun battle that also left 3 other FBI agents wounded. 43-year-old Schwarzenberger is survived by her husband and 2 sons. West Michigan definitely getting a good dose of winter this weekend. While it may not be so fun to dig out of, it's made for some beautiful scenery, some great photos like these. These were taken in St. Joseph by Josh Nowicki. It is cold, but you have to admit it is so, so beautiful. Anthony is back now with a check of our forecast, and it sounds like the cold, the ice, the snow, it's going to stick around for a bit.
I think so, yeah. I mean, likely, Janice, through the next 10 days at least before we see a substantial warming trend around here. So get used to these chilly readings around West Michigan. Now, granted, I mentioned this late last week when I was here. The brutality of the cold, it appeared as though several days ago, perhaps these daytime highs could be as low as the single digits at one point. But that does not appear to be the case, at least through this work week. Maybe next weekend and into that following week, early in the week, we could see readings drop that low. But even that is probably a long shot, as it seems as though we get closer to the particular days and the models trend upward just a bit. Nonetheless, it is going to be cold enough with highs in the mid-teens on average and upper teens to near 20 degrees on other days. Today, probably actually one of our coldest that we're going to see through this chilly stretch. We had a daytime reading of 11 degrees, 12 degrees in Grand Rapids. I think we gain about 4 or 5 degrees on top of that for tomorrow. Nonetheless, some light snow showers and flurries will be out and about. I had a lot of times on Monday. I don't think accruing to a whole lot in Grand Rapids, but again, keep in mind with the temperatures as low as they are, anything that's going to be falling will be accumulating to some extent. So you've got to watch your driving on these roadways, folks. And right along the lakeshore, there's going to be a noticeable uptick with these light accumulations overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. So where we stand right now and through early on Tuesday morning, there can be some locales along the lakeshore picking up another 2-3 inches or so. You'll see that with the maps that I've got set up for us in a second. Light accumulations, yes, expected. Cold pattern continues for a while. And here's your planner for tomorrow. 14 degrees at midday and 17 for a daytime high. I've got flurries in the morning, kind of what we've seen the past few hours. You've probably been watching football recently, but there have been some very fine flakes coming down very gently in GR, collecting to a very light film of a dusting on the vehicles. I think we'll see a similar pattern tomorrow morning. Doesn't mean it necessarily has to be snowing at all times, but a light flurry, light snow, and then probably picking up just a bit here late afternoon and into the evening tomorrow. Southwest winds virtually non-existent, though. Very light at 5 to 7, 8, maybe 10 miles per hour. So that'll help out with the wind chills, even though it will be quite chilly around the region. You can see these flurries tending to kind of evaporate off the screen a little bit more so within the past couple of hours. So really not very significant out there, but I mentioned it in the weather segment at the top of the show at the 10 o'clock that anything that would be coming down is going to accumulate and cause a few slick spots. So we've got to look out for that. A corridor of snow down to the south, that's going to be missing us for the most part. So not concerned about that patch of snow. Am concerned about very cold temperatures, though. You got to be bundled up early tomorrow morning, and readings are not improving to our northwest, the direction from which our flow is to continue to come. Almost minus 20 degrees in International Falls, and for a lot of these locations in Minnesota, South Dakota, and North Dakota. And look at this reservoir of air. I mean, this is what I was talking about the last several weeks, how this was to expand in intensity and coverage. And wow, I mean, this is as cold as we've had it all winter season, and that will be the pool of air we're going to be tapping from for quite some time. Feels like numbers right now. Yes, the winds are light, so only between about 0 and -5. Watch the model. Does have these snow showers along the lakeshore. There's some indication off of some of these high resolution models. There could be a little meso-low developing over the lake. So a little tiny circulation that could help to invigorate some of the snow showers into some snow squalls late morning and early afternoon for, say, northern Van Buren and Allegan and Ottawa counties tomorrow. You can see on the model showing some of that. So 2-3 inches or so could be accrued by early on Tuesday morning there. Inland, Grand Rapids, southward to Kalamazoo, more like an inch. Here's your 7-day forecast. Janice, it's chilly, upper teens to near 20. I'll talk about those snowflakes later in the 7-day. We'll see what's going on with that in the 11 o'clock.
All right, Anthony, thanks. Still ahead, it's a